Few figures in religious history have sparked as much fear, fascination, and debate as the Antichrist. This mysterious figure, shrouded in prophecy and speculation, has captivated believers and non-believers alike for centuries. But who is the Antichrist? Where does this idea come from? And what does the Bible have to say about this enigmatic figure? The Antichrist is a central figure in Christian end-times beliefs. He's often portrayed as a charismatic and deceptive leader who will rise to power, promising peace and prosperity, but ultimately leading the world into a time of unprecedented tribulation. His arrival is said to herald the beginning of the end, a period of great turmoil culminating in a final battle between good and evil. The concept of the Antichrist is deeply rooted in biblical prophecy, particularly in the New Testament. While the term itself appears only a handful of times, the idea of a powerful, deceitful figure opposing Christ and his followers is a recurring theme throughout Scripture. This essay will explore the origins and significance of the Antichrist in Christian belief, examining the biblical basis for this figure, his characteristics, and his role in end-times prophecy. We will delve into the prophecies of Daniel and Revelation, where the Antichrist is often depicted in symbolic and apocalyptic language.
Despite the widespread recognition of the term Antichrist, it's surprising to learn that the word itself appears only a handful of times in the Bible. In fact, you won't find the word Antichrist anywhere in the Old Testament. It's only in the New Testament, specifically in the letters of John, that we encounter this chilling term. This might seem unusual given the Antichrist's prominent place in Christian end-times theology. However, the relative scarcity of the term Antichrist doesn't diminish the significance of this figure in biblical prophecy. Instead of explicitly naming the Antichrist throughout the Scriptures, the Bible uses different titles and descriptions to point toward this ultimate deceiver. From the little horn in the book of Daniel to the man of lawlessness in Paul's letters, the Bible uses vivid imagery and symbolism to warn us about the coming of a powerful and deceptive figure who will oppose God and his people. These various descriptions, while not directly using the term Antichrist, contribute to a broader picture of an end-times antagonist who will play a pivotal role in God's plan. To understand the Antichrist, we must first understand the word itself. Antichrist is derived from the Greek word antichristos, a combination of two words, anti and Christos. Anti can mean against or in place of. Christos is the Greek equivalent of the Hebrew Messiah, both meaning anointed one. Therefore, the word Antichrist can be interpreted in two ways. First, it can mean against Christ, signifying an individual or entity that actively opposes Christ and his teachings. This interpretation highlights the Antichrist's role as the ultimate enemy of God and his followers, a figure who embodies rebellion and opposition to God's plan for humanity. Second, Antichrist can also mean in place of Christ, suggesting a figure who falsely presents himself as the true Messiah. This interpretation emphasizes the Antichrist's deceptive nature, his ability to mislead people into following a path that leads away from God. He will be a master of deception, promising peace and prosperity while masking his true sinister intentions. As mentioned earlier, the term Antichrist appears exclusively in the New Testament, specifically in the writings of the Apostle John. In his first and second epistles, John uses the term to describe those who deny the true nature of Jesus Christ. For John, the spirit of the Antichrist was already at work in the world, manifesting in false teachers and those who rejected Christ's divinity. Who is the liar? It is whoever denies that Jesus is the Christ. Such a person is the Antichrist, denying the Father and the Son. 1 John chapter 2, verse 22. This verse highlights John's understanding of the Antichrist as not just a single individual, but also a spirit of deception and opposition to Christ that can manifest in various forms. It serves as a warning against those who distort the truth of the gospel and lead people astray. John's writings provide a crucial insight into the nature of the Antichrist. He emphasizes the importance of testing the spirits, discerning the truth from falsehood, and holding fast to the true teachings of Christ. His words serve as a timeless reminder to be vigilant against deception, especially in matters of faith. Section 5. Beyond the name, unveiling the Antichrist's many faces. While the term Antichrist itself is limited to John's letters, the concept of a final enemy of God and his people is woven throughout Scripture. Various figures, often described in symbolic and apocalyptic language, are seen as foreshadowing or embodying aspects of the Antichrist. One such figure is the little horn from the book of Daniel. This little horn emerges from among a group of 10 horns, representing kings or kingdoms, and proceeds to subdue 3 of them. This horn speaks words against the Most High and wages war against the saints. Another figure associated with the Antichrist is the man of lawlessness described by the Apostle Paul in his second letter to the Thessalonians. This man of lawlessness is characterized by his arrogance, blasphemy, and opposition to God. He is said to exalt himself above all that is called God, and to sit in God's temple, proclaiming himself to be God. These figures, though not explicitly identified as the Antichrist, share common characteristics with him: deception, blasphemy, persecution of the faithful, and ultimately, rebellion against God. Their presence in Scripture underscores the enduring theme of a final confrontation between good and evil, culminating in the ultimate triumph of God's kingdom. Section 6. Echoes of Deception. The Antichrist in Early Church Writings. The concept of the Antichrist as a powerful and deceptive figure who would precede the second coming of Christ continued to resonate within the early Christian church. Early church fathers such as Irenaeus, Tertullian, and Hippolytus wrote extensively about the Antichrist, interpreting biblical prophecies and speculating about his identity and the timing of his arrival. These early Christian writers viewed the Antichrist not merely as a future figure, but also as a present reality embodied in the Roman Empire and its persecution of Christians. They saw the Roman emperors, with their claims to divinity and their brutal treatment of believers, as foreshadowing the Antichrist's reign of terror. While the early church grappled with the identity and timing of the Antichrist's arrival, there was a shared understanding of his ultimate purpose: to deceive the world, turn people away from God, and usher in a period of great tribulation. Their writings reflect a deep concern about the Antichrist's deception and a fervent desire to prepare the faithful for his arrival. Section 7. The Beast from the Abyss. The Antichrist in the Book of Revelation. Perhaps the most detailed and vivid portrayal of the Antichrist is found in the Book of Revelation, the final book of the New Testament. Here, the Antichrist is depicted as a beast that emerges from the abyss, a symbol of chaos and evil. This beast is described as having 7 heads and 10 horns, imagery reminiscent of the little horn from the book of Daniel, further solidifying the connection between these figures. The beast is said to receive its power, authority, and throne from the dragon, a symbol of Satan, highlighting the Antichrist's role as a servant of evil forces. The book of Revelation paints a chilling picture of the Antichrist's reign, marked by deception, warfare, and persecution. He will perform great signs and wonders, deceiving many into following him. He will demand worship and seek to establish his authority over all nations, and he will wage war against the saints, those who remain faithful to God. Section 8. The Mark of the Beast, a Symbol of Allegiance. One of the most enduring and unsettling aspects of the Antichrist prophecy is the Mark of the Beast. This mark, described in the Book of Revelation, is a symbol of allegiance to the Antichrist and his system of control. It is said that no one will be able to buy or sell without this mark. The precise nature of the Mark of the Beast has been a subject of much speculation and debate throughout history. Some interpret it literally as a physical mark, perhaps a tattoo or a microchip, while others view it metaphorically as a symbol of conformity to the Antichrist's ideology and values. Regardless of its precise form, the Mark of the Beast serves as a powerful reminder of the choices that will confront humanity during the Antichrist's reign. It represents a stark choice between loyalty to God and allegiance to a system of evil. Section 9. The Final Showdown. The Antichrist and the Second Coming. The Antichrist's reign of terror, though devastating, will not last forever. The Book of Revelation describes a climactic battle, often referred to as Armageddon, where the forces of good, led by Christ himself, will confront the armies of the Antichrist and his followers. This final showdown will mark the culmination of history, a decisive victory for good over evil. The Antichrist and the false prophet will be defeated and cast into the lake of fire, a symbol of eternal punishment. Their reign of deception will be over, and the world will finally be free from their tyranny. The defeat of the Antichrist paves the way for the establishment of Christ's millennial kingdom, a 1,000-year reign of peace and righteousness on earth. During this time, Satan will be bound, and Christ will rule with justice and compassion. Section 10. Separating fact from fiction. Misconceptions about the Antichrist. Over the centuries, the Antichrist has become a figure shrouded in mystery and speculation. Numerous interpretations, theories, and even conspiracy theories have arisen, often obscuring the biblical understanding of this figure. One common misconception is that the Antichrist will be easily recognizable as an embodiment of evil. However, the Bible suggests that the Antichrist will be a master of deception, presenting himself as a bringer of peace and prosperity. He will be charismatic, persuasive, and capable of deceiving even the elect, if that were possible. Another misconception is that the Antichrist will be a lone figure, working in isolation. On the contrary, the Bible depicts the Antichrist as having a vast network of followers and enablers, including the false prophet, who will perform signs and wonders to deceive the world. It's crucial to approach the topic of the Antichrist with discernment and a commitment to biblical truth. By separating fact from fiction, we can gain a clearer understanding of this crucial figure in end times prophecy. Section 11. The Enduring Shadow. Why the Antichrist still matters today. The Antichrist, though a figure shrouded in prophecy and often relegated to the realm of end-time speculation, remains a relevant and even urgent topic for Christians today. His story serves as a stark reminder of the reality of spiritual warfare and the constant battle between good and evil that rages around us. The Antichrist's methods, deception, manipulation, and the pursuit of power, are timeless and continue to manifest in various forms throughout history. By studying the Antichrist and the prophecies surrounding him, we can learn to recognize and resist these tactics in our own time. More importantly, the Antichrist story points us to the hope of Christ's return. The darkness and deception that characterize the Antichrist's reign will not have the final say. The book of Revelation assures us that Christ will return to vanquish evil, establish his kingdom, and usher in an era of peace and righteousness.